Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 102. This time I'm viewing the 103rd episode of the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime Migration Season, and, well, I'll get to that particular ending. The ending. There's a particular shocking thing part of this particular episode that does tie into the manga. I will get to that. The episode pretty much picks up kind of where last week's episode, with Jungo basically going through his transformation. He gets out of the tent. Oh yeah, and Sagosuru, the one from the Hidden Mist Village, he somehow gets out of the tent. It's never shown of how or when this happened because next time we see him, he is on Konohamaru's arm. Yeah, and somehow they took the time to get this particular research data off screen. Okay, fine. Yep. And basically, Tomoko, basically the reason he did all this was so he could fight Jongo in a big brawl, which you see in the anime, it's a complete disappointment. Yeah, he's been like, yeah, I have this really cool curse mark, and I want to take you on, Jongo. You have the original one. I want to see it, but mine is better. And man, when Joe goes to for curse point, he wipes the floor with him. And he does something unexpected. He absorbed his curse mark. Okay, he goes a bit of a rampage. And of course, Sasumori, somehow arriving with Team 15 after their battle with one of the twins. Yeah, the other two is a little bit wounded, but Sasumori detects what's going on with Boruto. Yeah, in this particular six-parter, it's never explained how in the world she knows that Boruto's in trouble, so she sends Nu to rescue him from Jongo, and then, of course, Boruto comes to the interesting idea to stop Jongo because Konohamaru stopped him previously with a Rasengan, so, okay, he's one of his own. Eventually, he lands it right in his chest, and somehow that converts it back to normal. I should point out that when Todoroki goes back to regular form, he is butt naked. And thank God it didn't show his groin. Oh, we see his rear end. See his rear end? Yep, he's completely naked. So that curse mark, yeah, when you see him when he's fully transformed, like, wow. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like he's a freaking octopus. Like an octopus / scorpion. He's got a tail, which somehow it could detach. Never explained. And apparently he can grow like 4 arms. Like, what the heck is this? I mean, who do you think he is? A freaking spider? Or at least a scorpion? Yeah. As for how the heck... Yeah, it's because of his transformation. As for how, like, of when he was able to accomplish this, somehow he was able to accomplish this while he's working for them. Him turning villain last 2 episodes ago was completely out of the blue. There was barely any hints of him the villain. And it's implied he was the main villain all along. He's the one who did all of this. Yep. Oh, and there's a question I asked last week's episode that was not answered this episode. Okay. And of course, Sadara and Karin basically get all the birds of the curse mark, and eventually, well, they get a small portion of them, and then Sasaguru somehow drinks of the sort of a neuralizer. Becomes a giant rainfall and covers like all the birds that were affected the curse mark back normal, and somehow off screen that while the bird's cured, no need to have this cage here, so they tear it down. Also, because of something Boruto says, like you can choose your own destiny, so Sasumori decides to tell her team that, hey, I'm going to join the Scientific Ninja Tools. Yes, she's going to be a part of them. Okay, so this kind of does explain of why she joined them back in chapter 17 when she showed up in the manga. That at least explains of how and why. She simply abandoned her team like on a whim. This is something she decided. Apparently she was offered this position after the events of the tuning exam. Okay. If I remember from the manga, she actually was wearing... The outfit she was wearing in the manga was actually the outfit she was wearing on the show prior to becoming a full genin. I mean, as far as I can tell, she's still a genin. And she says the reasoning for this is not only, well, because they want to restart from scratch because of what happened during the tuning exam. They said because of that incident. Mainly the tuning exam. Yep. And she wants to basically help improve Nu, help her improve her control over him. So that's the reason for that. Also, Boruto in this episode a couple times stares at his curse mark he has on his hand, which he got in the Chunin exam arc. Which, in case you're wondering, does this particular thing play a factor in this episode? No, not really. It's a particular mark that's there, and it does nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah, it doesn't do anything until the start of the most recent arc in the manga for Boruto. And of course, somehow that Django, Suguru, and Karin took off Todoroki, even though that Konoha was supposed to arrest him. Yeah. As to have Atlanta Rivers, never explained. Yeah. And they just go back to the village. Okay. Now, before I close the video, there are several things that were never answered by the time I finished this episode. Okay, we do know that Turk was responsible for stealing the serum and make him disappear. Okay, who the heck freed the curse marked birds? Yeah, that was never explained. I think it's probably Toru, but that was never explained in dialogue. Okay, second, what the heck happened to the people from Atlanta Rivers? Because, well, were the four people that were seen last week's episode, were they just simply like the only people who worked at this facility? I mean, the size of what they saw of it like 2 episodes back, it looked like a good about 30 people worked here. Did all of them get wiped out off screen? Yeah, what the heck happened to them? Seriously. And let's see, what else? Konohamaru. Like, we hear all these exploits and stuff he does off screen. Do we ever see a flashback to this? Nope. Just like the last arc. Let's have Konohamaru do awesome things off screen and never show a flashback to it at all. This is the second time this series that's happened. I don't count the last time because that was basically an adaptation of a light novel which will appear in Child Day. This came, like, of course, this is the second major arc they have for the series after the events of the Chunin exam. First, Mitsuki's disappearance, and then this one. And both of them, Konohamaru does interesting things in those particular stories, and they never show them on screen. That would have been interesting. Also, the Konohamaru, yeah, somehow he miraculously recovered. It's never shown how he recovered. It's just, oh yeah, he's perfectly fine now. Despite being bedridden for 3 episodes. Yeah, after he got hit by Django. Yeah. Oh, and I have another question though. Okay, we have Django involved in this stuff, but no one wanted to call Sasuke. Seriously, Sasuke wasn't even mentioned in this 6-parter. Yeah, I'm like, seriously, these are 3 people who are associates of his, and he's never brought up. No one calls him up for advice. Nothing. It's almost like that Boruto's like apprenticeship to him is completely like forgotten. I mean, I think it still happened, but it's like the writer just didn't bother to mention it. But there is some positives in particular arc. For one thing, it's shorter than Mitsuki's appearance arc. It only lasts 6 episodes, so that's good at that. The story is told a lot better, and at least have characters at least are interesting. Yes. But, like, the arc has its problems. The unanswered questions. The character who was a good character, good supporting character, and then revealed to be the main villain, even though there was no hints of this at all. Second time I watched when this happened, it's like, yeah, we have a character, we showed no hints of him turning evil, and then apparently he was behind the curse mark stuff. Yes. What else? Yeah, also the whole thing of Sasori being offered to join Scientific Ninja Tools. That, there was no flashback establishing that. It's like, just show a complete random. Yeah, though my personal theory, the reason why they did that in the show is because the writers of the 6-parter apparently read the manga and knew that she's part of Scientific Ninja Tools currently in the manga, in her only appearance she's made so far in the manga in chapter 17. So they probably think, okay, let's have her join Scientific Ninja Tools with this very arc. Like, okay, another positive arc is that we have a role for Team 15 to play in a particular story, because ever since they first formed, anytime they appear in the series that's not like reduced to cameos outside like to the Chunin exam, Like, there's not much to this team at all. We barely get any time with this team. That's basically a weakness of the show. There's a good amount of characters who get barely any character development. I mean, aside from Boruto, Sadara, and Mitsuke, aside from these three, a lot of the characters really don't get much development. I would say probably the only characters who get some development is Team 10. Yeah, they get some development, not very much. I mean, we get a little bit of development for Team 40. Team 15 is probably by far the one team that's undergone the least development since teams first formed back in episode 38. Yes, it has been exactly, I think it's been like 72 plus 3. It's been 75 episodes since these three-man teams have been formed. And Team 15 has undergone the least amount of development. Yes, this is basically the weakness of this particular team. This team has had barely any screen time, and now we lost one member of the team who actually got the most development. I mean, outside of the children of the main character from the previous series, she was the only person who actually probably gets some. She's actually one of like 3 people who actually probably get some development. I mean, you have Dekai, he got some development. So did Wombi. Yeah, these 2 characters, along with Susumori, got some development. Not much, but at least got some development, of course, this entire series. As for Susumori's friends, who are part of Team 15, these 2 have undergone the least amount of development. These 2 have barely been developed at all. And I get the fact, yes, you have about like a good 12 characters to work with. And a lot of time you want to focus on the main 3. Fine, whatever. But if you're not going to focus on them on screen, maybe you could, I don't know, spin them off into a different series. Just have like an anthology series to go alongside this to kind of explore what kind of missions that their teams are on while the main team is doing all the good stuff of the show. That might be interesting to do. And as far as I can tell, if you watch, let's say, Naruto Shippuden, a good chunk of the original of the main 15 characters of the series, they got the ones with Hidden Leaf Village. These characters, with the exception of 1010 got a little bit of development. With the exception of Kiba and Shino, a lot of the characters from the original series, by the time the series ended, got a lot of development. These characters were heavily developed. In the case of this particular show, you have 12 new characters for this generation who appear in a good chunk of the episodes, and so far, the only characters who have received a good amount of development, who are not children, the main characters, have just been Susumori, Iwambi, and Dekai. And that's it. Despite the fact there's a few other characters you could develop, you could develop a little bit of Susumori's friends. These 2 have barely been developed. I mean, there's barely anything you know about these characters at all. I mean, at least Susumori, you got a good amount of development with her over the course of the entire series. And then you get to this, and then she just leaves. So, with her gone, this is me, the animators are thinking, okay, with her off this roster, do we get a replacement member? Do we just not feature him anymore? Yes. I mean, if you look at, let's say, the most recent part of the manga that's shown, I mean, Sadara and Mitsuki have been absent for a good portion. They've been absent for a good almost 10 chapters. Yeah, almost 10 chapters, 2 characters have been absent. And there's no explained reason for it at all. Yeah. But this was, in my opinion, a better arc than the Mitsuki disappearance arc. Yeah, another positive I can have for this arc, it's shorter. And much better paced. Yes. One of the biggest problems with the Mitsuki disappearance arc is its terrible pacing. And the fact that most of the time, it felt as though almost nothing happened. In the case of these 6 episodes, it actually felt like something happened. We actually have some of the characters actually doing something for a change. And we finally have Team 15 teaming up with the main team of the series to do something. They do very little, but at least they're actually appearing. Because that's one thing I think that's another fault of the series. A lot of the characters don't get a lot of screen time at all because it's taken up by Boruto, Sadara, and Mitsuki. In the case of this episode, Mitsuki got barely any screen time at all, throughout this entire episode. As a matter of fact, most of this arc, he hasn't done a heck of a lot of anything. I mean, I'd say after the first couple episodes, he's done virtually almost nothing. Yeah, though I do have a theory for that. Though, because I think because of his disappearance arc, got a lot, probably got a negative flag to it. That's probably the reason why he was not given a lot to do in this arc. I mean, yes, you get some stuff with Boruto and some stuff with Sadara. That's great. Oh yeah, another positive arc. 3 characters in the previous series actually undergoing some character development, which that's another positive you can say about this. And you have an arc featuring Team Tonka minus Sasuke. Yep. So there's that. So nothing much else to say about this one. But next week's episode is going to be kind of interesting. It's kind of a cutesy episode where it's from the flash I've seen it from the previous scene. It looked like Sarah found the cat, and now Mitsuke's taking care of the cat. Okay, this should be interesting. Yeah. So that's it for this particular review. I know this one runs a little long, but I had to give my other thoughts on this particular arc. There's a lot of things to say about this particular arc. And I at least gotta praise the fact that it was short, only 6 episodes. Though I kind of wish the Parent-Child Day arc was a little bit longer than it was. Yeah, I kind of wish it was, but give it what you will. As in the case of tomorrow, I've got currently no videos planned for tomorrow. Nope, nothing. Yeah, I've got no videos planned for tomorrow. In the case of Tuesday, yes I do. I have currently 2 videos planned for Tuesday. Tomorrow I might have one, and that's a review of Season 17 of Case Closed, which I'm getting very close to finishing up Season 17. I've got currently 12 episodes to go, so I'll probably finish up half of it tonight and the other half tomorrow. But yeah, until I see you on my next review, bye.